I wasn't planning on saying much tonight. Not after the get lost text lit up our family chat like a flare. I walked into the lake cookout with a cooler in one hand and a slim sealed envelope in the other, the paper warm against my palm. Charcoal smoke, cut limes, and a sweet diesel ribbon from the marina braided the air. Across the water, Bluebell Islet sat like a promise my nephew thinks he owns. He spots me chin up, ringed by friends and borrowed bravado. That's fine. Generosity doesn't need a spotlight, it needs a ledger. My phone buzzes once as I set the cooler down, just the reminder I set earlier. There's an email already queued for later tonight, the subject line plain as a posted rule. Use policy update, Bluebell Islet. The body can wait. I don't wave the envelope around, I don't have to. It's sealed, uncreased, heavier than it looks, with a single line of ink where a stamp would go. Private grace sits in my jacket pocket, public clarity waits in my outbox. The contrast is intentional. Warm plates, cold words, family tradition, and then the truth. All week people have asked why I didn't clap back when he told me to get lost at the dock. Because fairness doesn't shout, it documents. It watches the wind, adjusts the trim, and lets the math land where it lands. I've spent years absorbing launch fees and repairs without a receipt parade. That ends tonight quietly. I'm not here to embarrass a kid. I'm here to fix a pattern. The same mouth that told me to leave is about to learn that doors swing both ways and that access has terms when someone else has been paying the carrying costs. I'm not taking anything from him. He'll fund what he tried to take, and he'll do it without losing face if he chooses. I thumb the envelope's edge once, then tuck it deeper. The subject line will be enough for now. Tomorrow the water will look the same, only the rules will read differently at the dock. Tonight the dock hums under everything, a low engine beneath chatter and clinking ice. I move through the kitchen first, shoulder grazing a swinging door, citrus cleaner still sharp on the wiped counters. The garage fridge drones, a steady baseline as someone scoops ice into a glass pitcher, cubes hit glass in bright chimes. Outside, the air is warm and bright with charcoal, sunscreen, and a slice of river wind that smells like tin. Out on the patio, hospitality looks effortless. Paper lanterns glow, an old playlist loops the songs that always make the uncles sing, and a tray of corn slides past me like a little parade. Hands clap my shoulder and cousins ask if I brought the hot sauce I always bring. It's a good scene, the kind you want to protect. Across the water, Bluebell Islet sits in its usual quiet, a dark green comma under a pearly sky. The table tells a different story. 4 chairs clustered tight at the head where my nephew holds court, friends flanking him in matching caps. One chair that used to live near me has migrated down the line. They aren't rude exactly, they're practiced. Someone laughs at a joke I wasn't invited to hear. My nephew's eyeline skims past me like I'm part of the furniture. Warm plates, cold edge, private welcome on the porch, public distance at the table. I don't force a chair open. I stack paper plates, make space for the potato salad, and keep my jacket on with the envelope settled inside. My partner leans near, reading the room the way they always do, quiet, observant, ready to let me lead. Our elder takes the end seat and keeps the peace without taking sides, refilling waters, asking about weather and work, steering the conversation away from anything sharp. Months funnel into this moment. Launch permits don't pay themselves. Storage invoices don't magically clear. When the outboard coughed last summer, I put it on my card and kept moving. No announcements, no receipts waived. I did it because family is supposed to be a dock you can tie to, not a storm. I saved the receipts anyway, habits learned from being the oldest, from paying attention to how stories get edited later. The turn came quietly. At the dock 2 weeks ago, when the engine finally sounded right, my nephew kept his voice low and said, "Appreciate you covering it." That night, a different tone hit the family chat. "We've got it. If you can't hang, get lost." Same thumb, 2 messages. I answered neither. I archived the thread and opened a folder instead. So I stand here calm because everything that needs saying already sits in my pocket and in Drive, time-stamped, redacted, share ready. The scheduled email waits with a plain subject line and a send time that respects dessert. The envelope waits for one person's hands, not the crowd's reaction. Tradition is the table, truth is the ledger. I don't have to raise my voice to raise the standard. I find a spot by the cooler where the ice keeps talking and the wind brings the faintest music from a boat somewhere beyond the cove. The island looks exactly the same as it did last year. The difference is invisible for now, the way a current moves under a smooth surface. When it's time, the numbers will speak and the story will shift to where it should have been all along. Until then, I listen, I document, and I let the doc hum remind me, calm is a choice and receipts are a plan tonight. The doc hum isn't the only steady thing tonight. My ledger is. The smile I keep at the grill sits on top of a stack of proof, so ordinary it borders on boring, which is exactly why it works. Stories drift, math doesn't. Start with the easy numbers. $480 for the seasonal launch permit, paid $2,023.0605 through the City Harbor portal on a visa ending 1142. Receipt CHP 7,732. $918.67 for the outboard repair on 2023-0712 at Lakeside Marine. Invoice LM 41,129. Because the motor coughed itself to sleep 2 days before a planned run. Then the part no one saw. $1,250 in dry storage arrears. I auto-covered 2024-0403 via Marina Pay. ACH trace 743,518. After a polite email from the office that used the word delinquent. The season warmed and so did the costs. On 2024-0312, I sent a $2,750 wire from Chase, ref hash ending 4,821, to clear a pre-season dockage deposit that threatened to bump our slot. On 2024-0408, I pushed $1,200 over Zelle to cover a We Got It grocery and fuel weekend that stalled at checkout. The note field reads simply, supplies. On 2024-0427, I cleaned up a $789 vendor balance for parts via Capital One. The statement PDF, page 3, shows the charge at 0914, export timestamp 2024-0429-0817. 2 days later, I paid a $315 rush fee to ensure a pickup before the holiday window closed. Invoice RSB 1479. The email header still lives in my archive. Subject: Rush Authorization 2024-0429-1422. None of that needed applause, it needed organization. So I built a simple system, a color-tabbed binder on my desk and a mirror in Drive. Tabs read permits, repairs, storage, communications, due diligence. Every bank statement gets saved as a redacted PDF. Every receipt sits behind a divider with a sticky noting the context in plain language. I keep a read-only folder with share links disabled until I need them, version history intact, because the truth ages well when you let it. When people ask why I'm so calm, here's the answer. I don't argue with memory, I export it. I screen record payment portals as I click submit, capturing dates, amounts, and confirmation IDs. I export the family group chat as a single PDF with timestamps. The quiet appreciate you at the dock lives on page 6, timestamp to the minute. The get lost broadside hits on page 9. Same phone, same hands. Tradition says keep it in the family. Truth says keep a copy. There's also the cost you can't photograph. The wire on March 12 wasn't free money. I pushed a specialist appointment for my shoulder back 2 months to keep the cash liquid, telling myself it could wait. It did, but the ache has a way of tapping the same spot on long drives, reminding me that generosity without boundaries often comes out of the body of the giver. No one clapped for that decision. They wouldn't have noticed if I hadn't written it down. Curiosity did the rest. Bluebell Islet has always been treated like a public clubhouse, but clubhouses have bylaws even if no one reads them. I paid $2,150 for an environmental pre-screen on 2024-0516 with North Shore Surveying, invoice NS 2024-558, because rumors about ownership were getting loud and I preferred documents to rumors. On 2024-05-20, I sent a $10,000 refundable earnest deposit to Harbor Title and Escrow, wire FedRef 20,240,520 BOA 1,183. Those entries sit under due diligence with a note, options not leverage. I didn't discuss them. I didn't need to. They exist to replace speculation with paperwork. All of this lives quietly. Binder on a shelf drive folder with a bland name, screenshots rolled into a single zip, checksum noted in the file description so I can prove nothing changed. It's not dramatic, it's adult. Warmth says break bread together. Boundaries say bring the ledger if someone keeps adjusting the story to fit the mood. The stakes are whether a teenager gets to have a good summer. He will. The stakes are whether the people who keep the lights on are allowed to be erased when the lights are brightest. I'm not suing anybody. I'm not naming names. I'm laying out cause and effect in numbers, dates, and brand names that don't care about feelings. If someone wants to contest a line, the PDF has a page number. So I stand at the edge of the patio and let the math settle in my own head like sand in a jar. The envelope in my jacket is thin as a blade. The scheduled email wears a plain subject line that will land when desserts do. If the night stays warm, the binder stays closed. If the cold edge shows again, I won't raise my voice. I'll open to the right tab and let the receipts do the next 20 minutes for me. Calm holds. By the time the corn hits the second platter, the line stops being fuzzy. My phone buzzes with a new message in the family thread at 6:12 p.m. A screenshot my nephew posts with a caption about how some people can't just let a gift be a gift. The image shows my text, send the invoice and I'll handle it, cropped tight so the lines above and below are gone. I know what's missing. His were short again and my keep the receipts so we don't mix stories. Warm chatter at the table, cold narrative in the chat. He follows with an announcement, planning for the 4th is committee only. Translation, I'm out. A friend adds a thumbs up, then a laugh emoji under my absence. It's coordinated, not sloppy. The curated screenshot does its job. It floats the idea that I'm petty, that I bought influence I now want to cash in. I put the phone face down and feel the envelope in my pocket like a seatbelt. I remind myself documentation isn't a weapon, it's a boundary. A direct ping hits my inbox at 6:28 p.m. He forwards an email with a tone I've seen before. Syrupy confidence dressed as authority. Subject, informal gifts are not recoverable. There's a block of text about donative intent and no expectation of repayment, no letterhead, no signature beyond a first initial. He CCs the elder and my partner for transparency. He's competent enough to sound official without saying anything binding, and smart enough to aim it where it will quiet the room. The elder does what elders do, slides over, asks if I've tried the watermelon and squeezes my shoulder with a look that says please don't. It isn't a rebuke, it's a plea for peace. Peace is easier when stories stay vague. My calm lives in specifics. I nod, bite the watermelon, and forward his email to my archive address with full headers intact, subject tagged, evidence, 2024-06 Roman 20 gift claim. I save the screenshot he posted and grab a screen recording of the thread to capture the context missing from his crop. Private grace, keep eating. Public clarity, preserve the record. At 6:41 p.m., my phone lights up with a no-caller ID. I let it ring to voicemail. A minute later, I get the transcription, a friend of his just checking in with a line about no hard feelings and maybe don't stir it up tonight. The timestamp lands under today's date in my log between two harmless Costco receipts. I don't answer, I also don't escalate. The story they want is a flare, the story I keep is a ledger. Here's what I do instead. I open my calendar and create a quiet event titled Budget Review. Date, July 1, time 6:30 p.m. Location, my home office. Guests, the elder, my partner, and my nephew. No subject lines that inflame, just the neutral words people use at work when they need numbers to settle a dispute. I attach a single zip and a read-only link. I don't describe the contents, I don't explain the purpose. I set reminders for an hour, a day, and 15 minutes before, and I click save. The invite goes out like a paper boat on calm water. Then I open my bank portal and scroll to the recurring items. There it is, the auto transfer I set months ago to sweep a set amount toward marina-related costs on the first of each month, the quiet patch that kept committee only afloat. I toggle it off, confirm the change, and email the confirmation to my archive with the subject recurring transfer status off 1907. I don't announce it, I don't threat. A switch moves from on to off, the dock hums on. The group chat keeps rolling. Someone tosses a meme about Uncle Audit season into the thread. My nephew reacts to himself with a gold star and a comment about how we're all adults here. He's not wrong. Adults plan budgets. Adults set terms. Adults also own their tone. I type nothing. I line up the day's entries in my log. 1812 screenshot posted. 1828 lawyer-ish email. 1841 missed call. 1842 voicemail transcriptions saved. 1907 recurring transfer switch confirmation. The list reads like a drumbeat, not a fight. When the elder circles back, I make it easy. I'm not going to argue tonight, I say softly. We'll talk Monday. I send a calendar invite. He exhales, relief plain in his shoulders. He doesn't ask what's in it. He doesn't need to. The point isn't to corner anyone, it's to get us all in the same frame of reference with the same numbers. If someone opts out, that's also an answer, and the folder is ready for that scenario too. My nephew catches my eye from the head of the table and lifts his chin, that same borrowed bravado flickering when it feels applause. He's playing to the room and doing it well. I let him. Tradition loves a toast, truth prefers minutes. The envelope stays put. The scheduled email stays queued. The calendar event now sits in the week ahead like a buoy, marking safe water from rocks. I clear plates, I refill water. I ask a cousin about their new job and listen like I have all night because I do. There's a temptation to correct the record in real time, but real time rewards speed, not accuracy. The log rewards patience. The numbers aren't going anywhere. Neither am I. As dusk folds over the cove, a boat across the water starts its engine. Laughter bellows, then thins as the sound drifts. The marina lights blink on one by one, patient and practical. That's the speed I'm choosing. They can spin the story through the weekend. Monday has a chair, a time, and a file that can't be cropped. And if they dodge that chair, there are other chairs built for facts, not feelings. I don't need to threaten. I just need to keep walking the route I set. Calendar, binder, envelope, send. After the budget review invite leaves my phone, the rest of my evening becomes an audit of what I can control. I can't change 30 minutes of performance in a group chat, but I can set the table for Monday so numbers, not moods, decide the outcome. Calm is logistics. I pull my chair to the desk, slide the envelope to the center, and open my checklist where feelings don't get a column. First, I confirm what's already done. The recurring transfer shows as canceled, effective immediately. I tap the screenshot I took the moment I toggled it off. Recurrence, off, with the bank's timestamp stamped in the corner 1907 and the confirmation ID ending in 71. I save it into the Communications tab and mirror it in Drive. No fanfare. Quiet switches change outcomes more reliably than loud lectures do. Next is access. Last year I added an authorized user for fuel runs, a convenience that quietly became policy. I log into the card portal, select the profile, and click remove. The system asks if I want to disable the card or delete the user. I choose delete and a green banner confirms at 1922. I download the confirmation PDF, redacted account digits visible, save a copy to the binder's supplies tab, and archive the bank's automatic email. Then I build the ledger I should have sent the first time someone called my help a gift. It isn't a threat, it's a receipt. Line items, dates, amounts, vendors, links to the original artifacts, permits, repairs, storage, supplies. Due diligence lives in its own section, noted as my cost for now. I assemble a clean one-page summary that totals only the shared expenses with footnotes pointing to each exhibit. Next is access. Last year I added an authorized user for fuel runs, a convenience that quietly became policy. I log into the card portal, select the profile, and click remove. The system asks if I want to disable the card or delete the user. I choose delete and a green banner confirms at 1922. I download the confirmation PDF, redacted account digits visible, save a copy to the binder's supplies tab, and archive the bank's automatic email. Then I build the ledger I should have sent the first time someone called my help a gift. It isn't a threat, it's a receipt. Line items, dates, amounts, vendors, links to the original artifacts, permits, repairs, storage, supplies. Due diligence lives in its own section, noted as my cost for now. I assemble a clean one-page summary that totals only the shared expenses with footnotes pointing to each exhibit. Delivery matters. I compose an email with the subject, itemized ledger summer costs read only, attach the PDF, and share a drive link with view-only permissions. I send it to my nephew, CC the elder, and my partner, BCC my archive address. The timestamp reads 2004. Then I prepare a certified letter with the same packet, names redacted, addressed care of to the household, not an individual. The postal receipt prints with tracking number 7022 410 1123 4589. I photograph it and staple the strip behind the Communications tab. I also prepare the paths no one has to take. I download the small claims packet from the county website and draft a complaint within the threshold, listing amounts with exhibit references, leaving names as redacted until and unless it's filed. I save it as draft, not legal advice, and tuck it under a private folder. In parallel, I email a local mediation clinic for availability and rates. Their auto-reply lands at 2027 with a fee schedule of $150 per hour and an intake form. Options beat ultimatums. The boundary for Monday is simple and written. We agree on what's owed from the shared list, sign a repayment plan that starts modestly and ramps, and set an auto-pay from his account weekly or bi-weekly until the balance clears with confirmation IDs emailed to all parties. No shaming, no speeches, just a signature and a schedule. Once the first payment posts, I restore what I control for scheduled dates: the ramp pass, the fuel pin, the calendar slots. If he declines, I let the processes I've already started move on rails. Reveal logistics are boring by design. I'll bring the binder redacted, labeled, and open to the summary and signatures page. The drive folder is ready with view-only access. Version history is on. The envelope contains one sheet that clarifies the status of Bluebell access without naming names, because safety matters and drama doesn't. The scheduled email is timed for late in the meeting, subject line plain. If they resolve it early, I hit unsend and we move on. Contingencies sit under each tab. If he arrives without elder, I reschedule. If he tries to make it a performance, I end meeting and follow up. If he accepts but stalls, plan converts to certified notices and then filing. Nothing personal. Next step. Every message lives in archive, every call goes to voicemail after one ring. No chasing, no cornering, just Monday at 6:30 and the binder. Monday arrives dressed like Sunday dinner. The elder sets out plates, my partner pours water, and the same old playlist hums under polite conversation. I keep my voice low, my binder on the table and the envelope beside it like a folded flag. Warm food, warm faces. I clear my throat once. This isn't a debate, I say. It's a review. Nobody flinches, that's the point. I open the binder to the summary page and slide a copy to each side. Redacted bank statements sit behind clear sleeves, account digits masked except the last four. I tap the first line, $2,750 wire 2024-0312 from Chase, ref hash ending 4821, clearing the dockage deposit. Next line, $1,200 Zelle on 2024-0408 for supplies. Then the Capital One statement, page 3, timestamp 2024-042908, 17, showing the $789 parts charge. The $315 rush fee lives behind it. Invoice RSB 1479, email header printed with 2024-0429-1422. I don't ask anyone to read aloud. Numbers read themselves. My nephew leans back, arms crossed. Like I said, it was a gift. The elder raises a hand, palm down, inviting quiet. I keep my cadence steady. Gifts don't usually come with invoices from vendors who expected payment. These did, I paid them. I slide out a thin stack of PDFs. Lakeside Marine invoice LM 41,129, City Harbor receipt CHP 7,732, Marina Pay ACH tray 743,518 for the $1,250 storage arrears on 2024-0403. The dates stack in order like stepping stones. Tradition says we remember the feeling. The truth gives the bill a date and a time. The group chat smear gets 1 page, not a speech. I lay down the exported PDF, a strip showing page 6 and page 9. Page 6 holds the doc thank you with the timestamp. Page 9 holds get lost, same phone, same evening. You cropped this, I say, tapping the printout of his screenshot. I kept the context. I set his legal-ish email on top, no letterhead, just a forwarded paragraph titled "Informal gifts are not recoverable." The full headers are stapled behind it, with received lines and time zones intact. I don't argue doctrine. I point to the absence of a signature and let the elder read in silence. He tries another lane. You're making it weird. The word lands soft, a classic deflection. I'm making it accurate, I say. That's less weird in the long run. I flip to the Communications tab and show the voicemail transcription from 1842 and the calendar invite. Budget review tonight, 6:30 p.m. Attachments listed. Calm, boring, documented. My partner smiles without showing teeth. The elder rubs a thumbnail along the binder's spine and nods once. 2 more things, I say, and slide forward a printout from the Marina portal. The page shows account name and billing contact fields. The account name line displays a neutral entity name redacted after the first word, and the authorized users list shows 1 entry, me. The fuel pin shows status, disabled at 06:02 this morning. The ramp auto pass shows active with capacity set by calendar reservations. I do narrate how those fields got there, I don't have to. The only point is alignment. Whoever pays and carries liability sets the terms. Access isn't canceled, it's organized. My nephew glances at the elder, then at me. So what, you're locking me out? No, I say. I'm locking in the rules. Safety gear, headcount caps, waiver on file, and scheduled dates. That's the use policy. Right on cue, the phones on the table buzz. The scheduled email lands. Subject line, use policy update, Bluebell Islet. The body contains a read-only link, a 1-page policy, and a waiver template. I keep the envelope closed. The email is the public version. The paper remains private unless it's needed. I rest a fingertip on the next tab. Finally, acknowledgement. I don't play the audio, I name it. Voice memo 2024-0429-2114. 7 seconds, you say, cover it now, I'll start paying you back in June. I saved it to protect both of us from bad memory. I'm not here to embarrass you. The elder exhales slowly. He's seen more summers than any of us and knows the difference between a lecture and a record. Let's keep it on paper, he says softly, please. I slide a neutral payment schedule across the table. Columns for date, amount, confirmation, ID, balance remaining. This is what I'm asking for, I say. We agree on the shared expenses only. We set an auto pay from your account weekly or bi-weekly starting this Friday. When the first payment lands, I'll restore your July slot under the policy. Headcount 12, life jackets on the boat, waiver on file. You keep your dignity, I keep my boundaries. No speeches, just confirmations. He points at the binder. And if I do, I nod toward the Communications tab. Then the processes move without me. The recurring transfer is off. Vendors will bill the listed contact on their timelines. Late notices will route to the names on file. I have a mediation option scheduled if you want a neutral room and a small claims draft prepared if you don't. Not a threat, a map. My partner taps the template lightly with a pen, then sets it down within his reach. The room tilts from story to evidence so gently you could miss the moment. Plates are still warm. There's laughter from the next room. If you just walked in, you'd think this was a planning meeting, not a correction. That's by design. I'm not uninviting him from anything. I'm inviting him into adulthood, where we put our names next to the costs we create and sign for the privileges we use. He picks up the schedule and reads. His jaw works. He's doing math, not theater, and that feels like a win already. The elder looks at me, then at him. This seems fair, he says. It's transparent. I offer a simple pen. If you'd like me to print a plan with smaller starts and longer runway, I can do that. The goal is steady, not punitive. No gloating, no victory lap, just the next right thing in a row. Another buzz hits his phone. He flips it over. A MarinaPay alert glows. Payment method removed for storage a 17. Please update. The liability has found its owner. I don't comment. I don't need to. The alignment is the point. I fold my hands and let the quiet do the work I brought all these papers to do. He places the template on the binder and rests his palm over the signature line. The elder watches, still as a piling. Outside, the dock hums and the water keeps its own tempo. Whether he signs tonight or texts me tomorrow morning, the math will move. The email is sent, the fields are set, the rules are clear. What happens next belongs to the next set of numbers. By morning, the water looks unchanged. My inbox doesn't. The first ripple is a balance due from the marina routed to the correct contact, not me. Storage a 17, statement date 701 due 710. It's addressed to his household, CC'd to the entity on file. I save the PDF, note the subject line, and move on without commentary. He texts at 9:12, short and plain. He'll take the Friday plan. At 0931, Zelle pings $300 with IDZ 2024-07064,471. I reply with 2 words, received, thanks. Before lunch, he uses the link on the template to set a $200 weekly auto pay. I get the system email with confirmation app 22,917 and the schedule summary. Fridays 0800 until paid. The spreadsheet updates the balance automatically and logs each transaction ID. In the family thread, the noise fades. No apology post, no victory lap. The smear screenshot sits unpinned while the use policy link gets bookmarked by 2 cousins who just want calendar slots and life jackets. One relative who laughed reacts with a checkmark emoji to the policy and DMs me, appreciate the clarity. I answer with the same 2 words. I don't feed the theater. The certified packet lands on 702, the green card returns signed and goes behind communications. The mediation clinic emails available dates. I pencil one on the calendar and leave it unused. The small claims draft stays labeled draft, time stamped and asleep. Options remain options, and that's enough to keep the temperature low. Vendors adjust quickly. Lakeside Marine updates the billing contact field the same afternoon. The confirmation email shows 1443 and includes a reference number. MarinaPay reflects a new card ending 3912 under the account with a payment posted 712 at 0801. I redact the last digits and file the screenshots. The auto transfer remains off. The portal shows status off. Behavior changes in small, verifiable ways. My nephew asks for 2 island dates through the form, signs the waiver in person, and shows up with headcount under the cap and every jacket zipped. He sends a follow-up text after each Friday auto pay with the confirmation string. I archive them, add the numbers to the template, and say nothing beyond received. The elder shifts, too. He brings a 3-ring notebook to the next planning call and asks for agenda items and receipts. The public energy moves on. Friends who boosted the earlier narrative stop tagging me. One quietly removes a comment. The elder's spouse compliments the calm tone. My partner and I keep the binder near the door, not as a threat, but as a reminder that systems beat speeches. A week later, the updated July statement shows a ledger column under payments. I take a photo of the page for the file and set calendar reminders. Review on the 15th, reconcile on the last Friday each month at 9. No gloating, no group announcements, no names. Just steady deposits, fewer whispers, and a doc that hums like it always has, with the difference that this time the math and the manners match. The doc still hums, and that's the sound I keep. Not the screenshots, not the drama, just the low proof that things run better when the people using the thing also carry it. The calendar reminders chirp, the deposits land, and the island feels like what it always should have been: shared, safe, boring. That's the reward for choosing procedure over performance. Here's the boundary plane. Kindness without documentation invites revisionism. Receipts protect relationships and truth. Private grace is my default. I'll help, I'll spot you, I'll keep your dignity intact. But if the story starts drifting, public clarity arrives, calm, measured, and backed by dates, amounts, and the same standards I hold for myself. The binder on the shelf, the read-only link, the certified receipt, those aren't weapons. They're rails. Rails keep trains from wandering into people's gardens. I didn't win anything tonight that he had to lose. He kept access, I kept boundaries. He got a path to pay, I got silence where the smear used to be. That's the point. Documentation isn't about catching someone, it's about giving everyone the same memory. When memory matches, respect has room to grow. Call it tradition versus truth if you want, but I think it's tradition with truth. Break bread in private, then, if necessary, bring the ledger in public so no one has to pray the facts behave. No grand gestures, no unfollow campaigns, just policies, waivers, schedules, and signatures. Adult things, sustainable things. A quick note, this is a dramatization. I'm telling a true-to-life pattern with redacted details for safety. I'm not giving legal advice. If you're in a similar tangle, get counsel in your own jurisdiction and document everything you safely can. If this resonated, tell me how receipts have protected your kindness. Drop a boundary win in the comments or pitch the next title you want to see me tackle. If you want more calm, receipt-driven justice in your feed, follow along. The binder isn't going anywhere, the doc still hums, and there's always another family legend that needs a timestamp. I'll be here steady when the numbers matter most.